Hey guys, this is Matt with Grizzly-Outdoors. Today I'm going to go over just kind of a trip report from last weekend. I went up to the Pinocchio Mountain. It's kind of their ski trail range. Hiked about 8.9 or so kilometers, so around 5.5 miles or so. I'll kind of go over what I packed and carried, give you guys an idea of what I brought, and then different things that I'm going to improve on from that trip. Temperature, stuff like that, so you have an idea of what I took. I also took a new pack with me. I'll be doing a separate review on the pack, but this time I'll go through. I've got some video footage of the trip. I typically don't end up taking a whole lot of footage when I go just because of camera, tripod setup, stuff like that. But I do have some, and then I'll go and play that in here after this intro, and then we'll go in and look at what I carried in. And then any suggestions you guys have, that's always great. And then it also gives you an idea of what I brought for temperature, overnight, stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and zoom the camera into the pack here and give you a closer look. This is the Mystery Ranch crew cab. I'll explain why I carried certain things and also go over some of the footwear options. Getting started on our hike. Nice wooded scenery. Alright, we got a fire going. Got the boots and the socks drying on a line. It was about a 3-mile walk in with tons of ferns. It's just sopping wet. Pants are wet from out here down. Get them dry before tonight. Got an Adirondack shelter. Stay there tonight instead of the hammocks, just with the rain and everything. There's a nice fire pit with lots of firewood, so keep you updated. And guys, give you a quick tour of camp. Got to clean stuff up a little bit yet, but this is the Adirondack shelter. It's got a wool blanket and then some stuff on the pad on the ground and stuff. Pack, it's doing really well. This is the Mystery Ranch pack. I'll be doing a review on this soon. Very comfortable pack. I was cleaning up from supper, looking over the map. Get the fire going, drying boots and socks out. Very wet walk on the way in here with all the wet ferns. So, that's where we're at. Should do more video tomorrow.
Open fire. Smoke goes curling up your nose.
How do you think that boot's gonna taste?
I'm looking forward to it. I've been planning all day for this, and I think it's about ready.
Still looks a little moist in the end, though.
But if you can tell by the nice lines here, it's almost a dark, medium rare.
Medium rare. I like mine medium well.
We'll hang on just a few minutes, and I'll have it up for you.
There you go. Supper on a campfire. Starting to lightly rain a little bit. Perfect weather to dry out boots. Alright guys, this is where we're hiking. This is northern Wisconsin. This is actually a ski trail in the winter and part of the North Country Trail. Cuts through here, kind of comes up here and then winds down through here. We ended up just walking a little bit on the North Country Trail. Later this summer I might try to hike a good portion of it here. But I was just going out with a friend of mine. He wanted to test some of his gear and stuff. So I went with him. And then I was also looking to test out this pack. Kind of a short trip. It was just an overnight. And it worked out really well for this because of the Adirondack shack that we stayed at. With the weather, we weren't planning on that. I was planning on using a hammock and tarp setup. But it rained right before we got there. And then where we parked here, we walked in. This section all through here was all ferns, about knee-high ferns that were just sopping wet. So we were drenched. By the time we got up to the shack, it took about 4 hours to dry everything off, which was good timing before night. And then the next day we hiked up, out, and around, and back to the car. So pretty good hike, not too bad. Testing out new gear. The one guy had about 60 pounds of gear on him and a new pack, so he was kind of hurting there a little bit. My base weight with this was about right about 30 pounds dry. When I got back, I had about 33 pounds with some water left and stuff, and all the food that got eaten up. Starting weight with food, water, and everything was about 45 pounds, probably a touch under, but 45 pounds in here. So a little more than I like to carry sometimes, but I wanted to make sure with the rain. And I also opted for the wool blanket instead of my sleeping bag. This is about 4.5 pound, 4 to 4.5 pound wool blanket, a little heavier than I normally would carry. But I was kind of wanting to test it on temperature, how low I could go with just the wool blanket without a warm sleeping bag. It did get down to 42 degrees Fahrenheit, around 7 Celsius. So it was fairly cold, not too bad. So that was just with the wool blanket, and then I'll show you a kind of a tarp blanket over the top of it, just to keep the wind off and stuff, and extra mosquitoes. So that was about it for temperature and stuff. Once we got to the shelter, by the time it got dark, it was downpouring all night. It didn't stop till 5:30 or 6 in the morning, so it was raining all day. So it was really fortunate that we got there when we did to be able to get a fire going with some dry stuff. It was picked pretty clean, so I will go and along with that, the boots that I took were the Keen. I think these are the gypsum, whatever you call them. They stayed really nice and dry. Very good waterproofing on them. Dumping stuff. But by the time we got up to the shack, these were completely soaked. The water had come onto my pants and ran down to my socks. And I was stupid. I grabbed just regular cotton socks. I was thinking, just a quick overnight. No big deal, but they take a long time to dry. So next time I'll be bringing my smart wool and some different stuff. If there's any chance of water. But I normally do that anyway, but I just was in a hurry for this trip. It was kind of a last minute, let's go do this. So, but that's what I carry here. They wore pretty good. This was the first trip with these. In the past, I'd used these are the Triage Keens. These held up fairly good. They started coming apart in some spots, so I switched. So. Morning, guys. Getting the water boiling and some good old Spam on the fry pan. Got ramen noodles. That's vegetable oil, not what you think. Get some warm food in the stomach for breakfast here. Slept pretty good. Rained all night last night. Everything's getting soaked. Fire stayed going though. We had a few logs left, so we grabbed enough wood. We'll get to walk through all the wet stuff again today, so.
Weight distribution doesn't seem to be too bad, actually, even with it.
Yeah, this pack's doing really good.
I definitely want to get a different frame.
To go to the Mr. Ranch frame.
Yeah.
This isn't bad. In the fall, this would be great over here with all the nice little hills. Nice stuff up here. This would be nice in the fall when all the leaves change. Especially this area. These aren't all the pines.